Welcome back to Child of Light. So now we're about to go into the Kapili village.
Yay!
How nice. Whatever the Kapilis are.
Left to the Kapili village. Okay.
Jova, well, yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Nicholas, fly on by. The lowest of the low I do not spy.
Oh, Aurora, search the sky, because I don't see the highest of high.
Chapter 4, The Deep Dark Well.
And there are so many ravens.
Are these the Capelli?
Hello, pilgrims on a learned journey we are. Empty? Where could they all be?
Maybe the ravens are the Capelli.
So yeah, there's literally nothing but ravens in the Kapili village.
Again.
You understand, Jova, when we'll actually meet these race, but
They used to be people.
Very good, Shiroi.
Oh boy, let me guess. The people
Well,
got turned into crows.
let's just say that let's just say that these RPG does a couple of things by the book when it comes to story arcs.
I was just joking, but
It's similar to say Final Fantasy III. Aurora comes around in different villages and see there's stuff happening, solves them, and then moves on with the experience, baggaging it.
Let me
Well,
guess.
that's
The
just JRPGs in general too.
True. Even the first Final Fantasy even happened. So
Let me
yeah.
guess.
I mean,
The
Kuni as that. I mean, JRPGs are still technically doing that to some extent.
So let me guess. The village is cursed.
Very good
Sorta.
job. I'm just going back a little bit, so
To see if you will check that.
I just wanted to check something. All right, let's see. Caw.
Clove the raven in my shorts. Oh wait.
All right, so
Also, there's a drunk raven.
yes,
Yep, definitely cursed villagers.
Must resist Dumbo joke. But...
a drunk raven.
so yeah, looks like nobody here is gonna
Also-
help us.
Well, so long as they aren't cigar-smoking racist ravens, I think we're all good. I mean,
Oh,
crows.
jeez.
Ravens are crows.
At least that is adorable racism,
And if I had to-
unlike
if-
Michael Bay racism.
And if I had to be completely honest, as a child, I never understood that.
Or Frankie Boyle raven.
It's because Teo, it's a clear jab at you know how it was back in the day too, in the 40s.
Yeah.
African Americans were constantly being made fun of back in the 40s, and they're supposed to be those stereotypes.
It's also just like in those disclaimers that they put before racist cartoons, in a sense that it was a product of its time, and
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
all know how racist Disney was back in the day.
Well, everybody, sure. Practically everybody was racist back then, anyways. So.
True,
But
true.
Disney
loved
himself kind of...
Disney were on a roll. Look
But
at
yeah.
this movie.
Let's not forget how Tom and
hey.
Jerry was fucking chock full of black faces.
Oh.
very good,
No.
Jova.
Oh,
This
God.
is supposed
All right.
to be one of
This
the
is to be Finn. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
Finn. All right, Shuri.
Excuse me, sir.
Remember your pearl voice.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but don't worry, Shuri. You'll get your chance to do your normal voice, right? Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
If you're looking for the sun or moon, go to Target.
You came.
Most certainly not. Can't you see?
He's called Fox.
Well, no. Too. I've already
yeah,
explained
it's
this.
French. It's French. Yeah. I know.
Faux pas, as in a past and false. Anyway,
Ceci n'est pas un crown.
I'm all alone again.
Now, believe it or not, Jova, you're looking at a teenager.
Yeah.
Of course.
My grandpa and basically this particular race lives way longer than normal humans.
Actually, I think it's the other way around. There's a very
it?
short lifespan. In that sense, they
They
grew
age
incredibly
quickly.
faster. Yeah.
I see.
And zounds! Chris Wessex reference. The Dark Queen cursed Makin to the birds. The water of life would cure him all. I have to make the journey down in the well. But fear has...
You're afraid. You're claustrophobic, aren't you?
No, he's just afraid. He's just a cowardly cat.
Yeah.
Poor man.
Oh well.
Then again, there's no one to really help
That
him
well
down.
must go down
though.
in a short span. Come on, Finn. Jump in.
Funny.
So,
Finn's
Alright.
plight.
So yeah, I guess we'll have to go down the well.
just like with Rubella, your future party members, essentially before officially joining you, comes in the form of the side quest. You can potentially arrive, I think, at the end of the game with only 1 or 2 party members that are actually obligatory.
The
You
ones that
said
are
you got
obligatory
stuff?
are, yeah. The ones that are obligatory, if I remember correctly, are the Golemov is optional. Finn is obligatory.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't. No. Robert is obligatory because.
Yeah, Robert is obligatory because he's part of the story.
Yeah.
I think Rubella is optional if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I think-
both Rubella and Tristis are optional.
Yeah. Anyway.
But you kind of need Rubella because of her healing spells and everything. But the point is, Finn is your typical black mage. Low HP, low defense, low speed, but compensates with high magic and high MP. He's your typical caster. He also has elemental spells, so it's perfect for when you want to swap out immediately and take an enemy off his guard.
A
The
Dragon Quest
trade-
reference, Shiroi.
The trade-off is that, as I mentioned, the speed is low in general. Almost all of his attacks have long execution terms. So you really need him for a strategy that involves a lot of time.
Don't worry, Shiroi. When I record Dragon Quest Stage, you'll see exactly what I mean. Another thing. Yeah, this is of course a new dungeon, and once again, Aurora is basically asking not to treat her as princess, because she's humble, and she herself doesn't really consider herself royalty yet. All right, so let's go down the well.
The way I
What
think.
kind of well is this?
Yeah, it spans for this entire cave system. But also, the way interpreting this is also the fact that she wants to help people not as a princess, but as a person first. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And the royalty thing actually comes out with the territory only.
Ooh, an HP orb.
Yeah, your boosters. They're actually limited in the game. I don't think there is a way for you to fabric them up.
No, there are no. The only things you can fabricate is alkali.
Yeah.
Nothing else. It's just of course you can always just do various new game pluses and keep getting them over and over.
Well, although to be fair, every time you level up, your stat to really boost up anyway. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the trap thing. I found the only thing we mentioned. Some of the traps, like those spikes, can be halted temporarily by having Iniculus, lighting up a switch, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Boar. Yeah.
I was keeping him blinded with Igniculus. All right.
Yeah. So sometimes it happens when enemies are stunned.
So yeah, let's try out Finn.
And you hit them. You don't automatically engage them.
A lot of the monsters in this cave are snow and ice elemented, so it's a good idea to bring in either someone with fire oculi or, of course, Finn, since Finn has fire spells.
There you go, wildfire. Oh, and it's an interesting thing, Jova. He has a staff, but he uses his pipe as a catalyst.
Guess he needs the staff to walk.
He uses still his staff to attack physically, and it's the only attack that is a very short range, so it's really useful for him to getting time to prepare the spell. So there you go. Whack. But of course, he doesn't have a lot of power. It's for more from supportive role.
Twisted interrupted him.
Yeah, that's exactly its purpose, pretty much. There we go.
Level up.
Alright, if I recall, yeah, let's see what the other characters say.
We have to get out of here.
Jesus, Fane.
It is. Oh, gone.
Calm down. Master your fear.
It's easy for you to say. You have light spells.
It's easier for you. You're the main protagonist.
Yeah.
There are only a few and a half of us. Whatever the hell that means.
He's referring to the fact that they're
himself as half a
outnumbered.
man.
You could just disappear.
Okay, now that's weird. Yeah, even the Italian localization kind of falls victim of this. A lot of rhymes kind of don't make sense.
It is kind of a shame that, party members don't talk amongst themselves.
My guess is Teo. Remember, this was
Well,
made by
Jova-
French people.
Jova-
My guess is Teo. Everything made sense in the original French script.
I
Um,
think so.
But
Yeah.
of course, when it comes to
despite being Canadian French, Ubisoft usually thinks with the American market first.
Honestly,
I think.
honestly, I'm guessing that it was probably just as weird in the French version. And, some of these are just strictly there for the sake of rhyming. It's a
And
common
also,
thing.
Jova, to be fair, outside of the story, but some characters interact from us once in a while during the story, but mostly the interaction happens after combat, right after you get a new party member. After the series, as I mentioned, after the first couple of series of combats that you get after getting the character will interact in order with the other characters you obtained. Like, say, first Rubella, then in this case the Golem, etc., etc.
Oh, I get that. I just wish that, they would also talk amongst themselves as well.
Yeah, I get what you mean, though. Well, to be fair, outside of the story beats, there's not much interaction due to the game sadly being relatively short.
Yeah, missed potential.
I go once again, Ubisoft. Again, remember, this was practically the only thing outside of Valiant Hearts that was considered at the very worst decent in 2014 by Ubisoft. Everything else just sucked.
So would you say it's kind of awfully fitting that at their quote-unquote redemption E3 that was this year earlier, that the only thing they didn't bring back that a lot of people have been asking for is another UbiSoft engine game?
And Prince of Persia, but yeah, you get the idea.
Because this was kind of their saving grace back in the day.
Yeah. Even in general, Jova, you think that after creating this engine, they would want to do something with it.
Also, allow me to also say something too. Not for nothing, but I think the length of this game is fine. I mean, see, here's how I see it. I see the story as it's intentionally ambiguous and told with brush strokes rather than being a more in-depth, full of dialogue story. It's more. How should I put this? It's
Kind of like a traditional fairy tale.
Yeah, kind of like a traditional fairy tale, but it's more simplistic in the way it explores the themes in a very straightforward and more simple and elegant way, rather
There's
than.
none to that.
I guess,
It
but it's an
depends.
RPG nonetheless.
And how much was
And
this...
I get on the other hand that this was pretty much the first attempt in decades of Ubisoft in handling an RPG at all. So
How much
I
did they
can
charge?
sorry,
How much
Although,
did
of
they
cour-
charge for the game?
Like
$40.
No, I don't know. It wasn't that. Well, if
No,
you're buying all the
I paid a lot less than that.
yeah,
Well,
it's because,
No, but I mean at launch.
At
I mean.
launch.
at launch till it was 20
Oh.
euros without DLC. But yeah, if you bought all the DLC, yeah, it will probably add up to that.
Okay, I think I can
20
see
euros.
Okay, for me, a game's length, as long as it's serviceable, shouldn't bug me as much, as long as there's, like, enough content and replay value or actually getting all the collectibles here and there. Which is why I kind of do lament that, party members don't speak amongst themselves, because, again, I mean, when something is short, that doesn't automatically make it bad, but it does make you kind of yearn for more. Case in point, Crash to Insanity.
Mhm.
I was gonna. Whatever that horn is.
Yeah.
Jova's phone.
Notifications.
You were saying about the length and everything.
What I was saying was, well, the length for me, it's fine, honestly. But what I really love about this game is how it's a very simple game that knows its limits and doesn't really try to overextend itself. And just I think it's one of those short but sweet games to me. Like, I really enjoyed.
I guess, but it just, I mean, outside of the fact that, honestly, outside of the short thing, honestly, the pacing to me feels a bit off, especially at the end. The entire end part feels rushed as fuck. And if anything seems to go by from the development cycle, apparently that was actually what happened.
Yeah.
We talk
but,
about this game?
Yeah,
Yes.
this game. But the other thing is that it just leaves me demanding more.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe the creators did have a sequel in mind, but of course that would be up to Ubisoft.
Well, yeah, maybe they still have, but it's all about Ubisoft deciding what to do.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Amico. I myself am digging the game so far, but I will admit, some of it does feel a bit disconnected in some regard, Amico, because, like, well, let's remember, Amico, we're here because our evil stepmother, apparently poisoned us, yet it turns out she's also in this world ruling as some evil queen who's affecting stuff.
No. Actually, Jova, no. Later on, when we finally confront our stepmother again, we're going to learn exactly why Aurora is still alive despite the poison.
Oh, I get
Let's
that,
just-
but isn't her evil
They're
stepmother...
gonna pull yet another Harry Potter. Let's just go.
Oh, I get that. What I mean is, like, well, isn't her evil stepmother also sort of ruler of this dark kingdom or something?
Yes, well, it's the typical fairy tale trope, Jova. The evil stepmother killed the king so that and also banished the princess so that she could take rule. You can't
Oh,
get
I know
any more
that, I know that, I know
classic than
that.
this.
I'm just kind of wondering, why is she also in this dream world, too? Like, for all she knows, couldn't she just leave
No, this is
the
not a
princess?
dream world. This is just Lemuria. We're literally exploring the kingdom that eventually will rule over when we finish our adventure.
Yeah, but isn't the princess comatose during all this? You know...
No. She was
Actually, no, she died. Remember, she was the princess of Austria, of all things.
She was supposedly dead, Jova, but then she suddenly woke up for some reason, and we're yet to learn of that.
Oh, I get that, but I assume that this is like all...
Oh, there we go.
Bravo,
Alright,
you with the beard. Are you a magician?
You're a wizard, Finn.
Well, you might say that. Also, I love his. Oh, okay.
It's peace
Come
bump.
to the circus and try out.
Don't you mean?
Jeez.
She right?
She's inviting you to audition.
There we go.
There you go. See? God damn it, Rebella. You have to start rhyming. Get with the program.
Yeah, like, you probably thought she was gonna say, try that.
Yeah. Up on stage? Are you kidding?
I guess Finn is timid in that regard.
Mhm.
Not blaming him.
Nice
Also,
rhyme.
I love his antenna with a light at the end, or whatever the hell that
Yeah.
thing is on his
It's like
head.
an angelfish.
Yeah, anglefish, kinda.
All right.
My guess is that in the interpretation I give to this is that due to the capillaries being focused on magic and shit, this helps them reading books.
I guess.
It's like one of those portable lamps where you just play some books in order to read them by night.
Well, how about this? Well, how about this too? We can at the very least take solace that after this game, at the very least, Ubisoft made
Got their shit together for the most
no,
part. Yeah.
well, that too. But I was gonna mention in terms of RPGs. I mean, Trey and Matt, of course, came to them and made two great RPGs.
True. I mean,
What's
at
that?
least for Fractured Battle, Stick of Truth was already way in development and it was supposed to be handled by THQ also. Remember, the dev team was Obsidian and THQ, the publisher, until they bankrupt and in which Ubisoft took over. Obviously, they had a hand in development as well, but not until the sequel. Fractured Battle apparently is developed entirely by Ubisoft.
Yeah,
so-
it was development. Trey and Matt actually participated in the development instead of just writing it, which is why the gameplay is much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I have to be honest, Obsidian doesn't have a lot of good track record outside of the past. I mean, they did that weird Sega game called Alpha Protocol, which I still don't even know what it's about.
Beats me.
Here we go.
Fuck. That is a. Well, still good. Oh, and I dodged anyway.
Yeah. Also, another thing that I forgot if I mentioned, but in case you haven't noticed, it's a bit weird to notice because of the distance between each other. But Aurora is the only one, at least so far, who actually has a 3D model in this world, while all the others are full hand-drawn sprites, potentially.
Even
Well,
though
she
they
is.
have-
Well, like Shiro said, she is the protagonist.
And also, not just that, this symbolizing the fact that she's not from this world originally. It's gonna be. Trust me, Pedro, I'm going somewhere with this, but I'll need to wait for the game story to progress.
Sure.
Because this is another thing. This is one of those games where a couple of bits of its lore has actually been hidden here and there. So
Hi, it is a pleasure to meet you, Mano Stone.
Man of stone.
I see there's cracks between your joints.
Um.
Ow.
That's rude, Finn. I hope you don't take this hard.
Because it's raw.
That's what they all say.
But could I just point a couple brings of men to a key point?
Essentially fixing. Dot 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 dot. Dot.
When we call this a microaggression.
Yeah, let's just.
Yes. Let's all agree that was a microaggression and all right.
Oh god.
All right. Trent.
Yeah, but yeah, as I was mentioning, outside of the revelation that, they're written in a bit of an incomprehensible language, but the last couple of them seems to be going in a sort of a story arc that they mention, and part of them are tied to the lore of Lemuria. But also there's the fact that, since it's an RPG, even Ubisoft couldn't resist them making a novel about it.
Seriously?
It's, although to be fair, it's one... Oh, hold on, this is important.
Ah, no! It
Actually, no,
cannot
it's
be.
Finn.
That's Finn who's speaking there.
Oh yeah, that's right. It cannot be. Avo, speak to me. For those who don't know, that means grandpa.
Yeah.
Suddenly went French for no reason on us. Whatever. Car.
I'm guessing that they're supposed to be the French.
I myself.
Jesus.
Quick, give me some mint to calm my nerve.
Now you become like the genie in King's Quest 6 and become drunk.
She right?
Why would I carry mint?
I've never played King's Quest. Mint is always useful in situations like this.
Also, it's good for...
I have mint tea. Would that work?
Also, it's good for your
No mint?
halitosis.
No mint, worse than the birds.
Why you are so upset, I do not see.
You and your rhymes.
Yeah, you're doing it too, bub.
Everyone else needs to get with the program.
My grandpa, this here bird bee.
There we go. We shall find the cure. Do not dismay.
Oh.
We have to hurry for the rest of today.
How can you say no to those highs?
I wish I never got up today.
Jesus, dude. I mean, I hate Mondays as well, but come on.
Jeez, so now you're becoming Arnold from Magic School Bus. Which has thankfully gotten a revival, and it's
Well,
not
Jova,
bad.
what could he... it could be worse. It could be Carlos instead.
I haven't heard good things about said revival.
Oh, what have you heard?
A lot of people are not very enthusiastic about this at all.
Well,
Then again, I'm somebody who never saw the original.
Well, Jova...
never...
I haven't heard of it until... Oh, give me a second. Go ahead in the meantime.
I was never... I grew up with it. It was fine, but I don't really see why it's such a big cult status kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, it's a fine show.
I guess
Fine.
because it was a good educational whilst entertaining show.
It was... Yeah, but I think there were better shows of that kind out there
Yeah.
at the time, honestly. if you ask me.
It's a show that had an audience, I'm guessing, but from what I can gather, a lot of people don't seem to really like that there's a new character for the revival.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Also, Jova, just think about it for a second. The original show was about this school made of these kids from different ethnicities having to go to weird journeys together.
Yep.
A revival of this done in the Tumblr Reddit era, it just spells suicide all over the place.
I think the new character is Miss Frizzles' niece or something, daughter.
it would be kind of like doing a Captain Planet revival.
Oh. Well, maybe not as bad as a Captain Planet revival because the original Captain
I still want to have Jeff Goldblum as a villain, though. Please have that back.
I forgot Jeff Goldblum was in that.
Well, too, you can always have him as Grandmaster. There's that.
How is it in Thor Ragnarok? I forgot to
Oh,
ask.
he's amazing. Teo. Like I've told you before, Thor Ragnarok is the best Jeff Goldblum movie ever.
By the way, Sam Neill is also in that movie too.
Right,
right.
I forgot. Yeah, if I recall correctly, it was one of the latest additions during one of the reshoots.
It shows, but it's still an awesome cameo.
Oh, trust me, they do such a great job with both him and Matt Damon. You'll see.
Sure.
Anyway, it's so great to see Jeff Goldblum's oohs and ahs be put to such brilliant use.
Yeah.
He plays literally an
Yeah,
alien.
especially considering, if I see correctly, even Emmerich couldn't manage to bring that back in the Independence Day sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Was he even in the sequel?
He is. It's Will Smith who's not, and they actually killed this character because of it.
Oh.
They
Like,
killed
it's so
Will Smith's
stupid.
character.
But it's Emmerich, so he should be part of the course. But god damn it.
Ugh. Shouldn't you know not to do that with a Will Smith character who kind of didn't die on screen?
Yeah.
Like, despite the hits in his career, Will Smith is still a beloved actor who, while he can
Yeah.
get egotistical and all, does still deserve
I mean,
respect.
yeah, I liked him even as Deadshot.
think it- I don't think it's so much that he's egotistical, Jova. It's more so that he's a bit too blind to his fault. Like, so forget the whole After Earth thing, where
Yeah.
he didn't even think about whether or not Jaden was ready.
Oh,
Not just that, even
yeah.
in interviews and everything, not just for that movie, but in general, he constantly pushing his son and clearly being out of touch with reality, to be
How
honest.
ironic that, when you think about it, the characters in the movie itself kind of reflect that.
It's one thing to love your family; it's another thing to wanting everyone to pay attention to how much you love your family.
Yeah, and to treat it as business.
Yeah.
No, but see, Teo, his justification is that his house is the pizzeria, and everybody works at the pizzeria, aka acting is his family business.
So where's the deranged animatronic that kills them all?
I mean, has Jaden Smith even really been
Hold on,
doing
boss
a lot
battle.
of... Oh.
Yeah, you actually have to meet the boss dungeon. And just like similar in Zelda tradition, the party member that we have is the most useful in this case.
Of course.
Because
Alright.
it's an elemental eel hydra thing.
An elemental hydra. One head is water, one head is grass, and the other hand is fire. So
How does the fire one survive underwater?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to JRPG 101. Okay, Miss Shiroi, what do you use on a fire snake?
Gee, I have no idea. Maybe water?
Very good, Jova. What do you use on a grass snake?
Fire.
Very good. Let's see if it's a free for free. Mr. Teo, what do we use in a water snake? Rice.
I know this one. It's thunder, maybe.
Very good. Everybody gets an A+.
In some RPGs...
But yeah, Jova is a point. How did the fire eel manage to survive in the water?
Yeah.
Well, it's the one that's furthest away from the waterfall, it seems. So
Sure, they all came from the water. How the fire one
You know,
is not
Actually,
extinguished...
Teo, I'm
Yes,
actually,
sir.
in hindsight, I probably should have put in that clip of Spoonie's Final Fantasy 1 April Fool's review. Where basically, Shiroi, he reviewed Final Fantasy 1 as a joke for an April Fool's. And he was he go, gee, look, there's a monster and he has fire. Oh wait, I just happened to buy an ice sword in the last town. Gee, I wonder if that works. Oh look, it does. It's like this is a complex puzzle that I have to decipher or something.
It's also a thing, as I mentioned in Zelda, in which it's a more by the book thing, in a sense that you get in the same dungeon the item that you need against the boss of the dungeon itself. Latest Zelda games tended to avoid that, though.
Also, this boss music is text.
Yeah. I'm not sure which I prefer between this one and the other variant, the one against the dragons, which we'll see later. But both of them are equally very awesome too. Again, this composer has, it's pretty much this is the first experience with games, but she has done such a good job.
Mm-hmm. Healing time.
So do you need to eat a burrito in order to use farts?
No, not yet.
Wrong game, I guess.
Oh, trust me, Teo. That's not even. Thicker Truth was only a taste. In Fracture Ballhole, your farts can manipulate space and time.
Whoa.
Yep.
Also, if I recall correctly, the pattern, it's been a while since I played the game anyway, even the PS4 version, because since it was crossed by a replayed it freely. But the most damaging or like annoying of the three heads should be the poison grass snake. One of them has an attack that hits all.
There you go.
Yeah, the other one inflicts damage, but the water one is the most straightforward, so you can leave it for less usually. That's usually what I did.
Sure.
But overall, as long as you have Fiend and uses elemental spells, you're practically okay with this.
Yep.
It's also more like managing also your healing and the way you use Ignicus, either to stun enemies or to heal yourself. I surprisingly enough, I mostly used him to heal myself, so as a consequence of that, I didn't need too much to stun enemies, and I didn't need to use items for most of the game.
All right, let's try fire on the grass snake.
Actually, that's a light spell.
After the starlight one. Like now it's wild. Oh look, it worked.
Yeah, one of the problems was that these bosses in particular, and some others will be later on, but also these, starts becoming sponges in a sense that we have a lot of HP. You get your Qs, but you're about to finish them off when they start to be, start panting and everything, kind of like even the regular monsters. But it takes a while.
Pro tip, when you're about to go into the climax and fighting the 3 final bosses, equip everybody with light elemental.
Yes,
luckily.
As we mentioned, it's broken as fuck against the final bosses.
Yeah, because the light element in this game, Jova, is the psychic type equivalent.
Gen 1.
There's no resist. Well, are there resistance to light elementals?
No one resists.
No one is resistant to light elemental, and light elemental is obviously strong against dark elemental monsters. And and aside from that, it can also work as kind of basically, for all intents and purposes, it kind of works also as a non-elemental spell because there's no resistance. So it's the best element in the game.
How about
essentially, to be fair, only not every enemy has light weaknesses. Like there are good shades of dark monster, but only late in the game, and there are not a lot of them anyway. So there is some sort of balance, but even regardless of that, the light element is still broken as fuck.
Yep.
Also, another thing I forgot to mention, those light herbs where you get the blue energy from Unicrus. Since Pedro is playing New Game Plus, they only give you blue spears in order to replenish.
Actually, no, Teo. Even in the first playthrough, if I remember correctly,
no. Let me say. Yeah, they give you HP and MP orbs, but only the first time. After that, they start giving you only blue orbs. In New Game Plus, they give you only blue orbs from the get-go.
Not for nothing, Teo, but for me, they've been giving me HP and MP orbs.
I mean in battle. Only in the war map they function the same.
Oh, okay. Sure.
This serves also to balance battles a bit, making them a bit more difficult in New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame aside from crossbuy, it's a shame there's no cross save either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, considering once again, considering length, I don't see much of an issue with it.
True. I mean, Persona has cross save for both PS3 and.
Well, that kind of begs for it being an Atlus RPG, so being lengthy and riddled with content. There we go. Only one head remaining.
Metal Gear Solid 5 also allowed you to import your Ground Zero's PS3 save data into the PS4 version of Phantom Pain.
Makes sense.
All right.
There you go, Sponge. Keep absorbing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of
All right.
course, the water one is the mighty glacier of the trio.
It's also the one who stand tallest, so I guess that it reminds me a bit of the Magus sister of Final Fantasy IV in a sense, but
Wait.
those function in a bit of a different way. But yeah,
I guess it makes sense that the water one would be most powerful, where there's water.
the
everywhere.
element and everything.
Lightning strike. There we go.
Just
White
wait for it
lightning.
to return.
Yeah, how weird that the light elemental spell gives more damage.
Because Aurora has. I actually think I've given Aurora plenty of Stardust in my first playthrough, so that might be why.
Yeah, even I has pretty much used the boosters only on Aurora. There we go.
Level up.
Oh jeez, what the fuck? Ah, shaking.
Everybody gets to level up.
You gotta level up, and you gotta level up.
Everyone gets a level up.
Alright, time for more story, because the snake was the source of the poison in the wound.
Of course.
Well thing.
Alright, look into the pool. Birds they were. Now be free.
How do you know?
I just know, okay?
He read the script.
Lift the curse in the Capilli. Oh, never mind, Joe, but he actually is lifting the curse.
Oh,
Mr.
that was
There
just
you go.
lifting the curse.
I forgot about this.
What a curious basin.
You cannot
Wanna
splash
jump?
inside Aurora.
Sorry, Aurora, you can't jump in. It shows you what your heart is craving.
I wonder.
Why
Harry Potter reference.
why is it that mystical waters always show something involving the person's heart?
I think it's a
Alright.
reference to the.
Let's
but
take a look.
yeah. Let's see.
Alright, you can be the king too.
Okay.
Please, it is Holy Saturday. I beseech your grace. The people await your speech, your grace.
My Aurora, my heart.
Your grace, someone bring the doctor, please. And the king's dead.
This is Aurora's greatest desire.
It's
Kid,
literally
you're
like
messed
that.
up.
It's literally the Metal Gear Solid call.
Did you see the sun and the moon?
Priorities, Ignicus.
Sure.
Make your magic again, quick.
I want to see more of my. I want to see my father die.
That's apparently her desire.
Jesus.
Well, that's
It
free,
all.
but
It only works what?
How fucking
Oh,
convenient.
darn.
sorry, no one's dying today.
I'm going to be sick.
Oh. Come on, you need to protect
crying's
that
my,
smile.
hey, crying is my shtick. Get your own.
Well, let's see how that turned out.
You get automatically teleported out of the dungeon, and everybody is back to normal.
Yay. So as you can see, Jova, all the Capilli race have these long hair and beards. I think
Except
even
for-
some of the... No, except the woman. They only have long hairs. And
No.
since it was made with the, the hold on, the
It's not even just that.
Fern!
Well, actually, I
Get
was
off
playing
my
that one.
lawn! Oh, God, oh, right, smart, my bad.
Grandpa, good to see you about.
Yeah, about that.
None of that. Come here, you cowardly lout. Also, too, not for nothing, but it's abundantly clear that this game was created by a man because, not like you said, every man is full of beard, whereas all the women have gigantic crack.
Not just that. Since it was made with the U-Build engine, I kind of take it as a reference of the fact that Michel Ansel made the fairies in Rayman Origins and Legend much lewder.
So, wait. So do the females just age slowly?
No,
Well,
Jova, it's for the
they-
sake of the women staying pretty while the men get ugly.
Essentially, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that would certainly fit with Ubisoft at the time.
But, well, they also represent kind of like the dwarves in traditional fantasy, Jova. So even in that, there's those medias, the dwarf woman usually don't have beards.
Yeah, but for them to be so much
Unlike
younger.
what Tolkien would think, especially Jackson. God damn it.
So yeah, basically, even though we did save the city, Aurora's still feeling sad because of her father. However, yeah, the lady's flute. She did say that they could make her feel better. So yeah, let's play the flute.
And see what happens.
Specifically, let's play the main theme of the game.
Aurora, you sing like a bird.
It's a flute. What sweet music I just heard.
Nothing changed at all. Not even the weather.
Oh,
Sorry,
well.
this isn't Pokemon.
And somewhere in the world, a Snorlax wakes up.
Jesus.
Yes. It's coming, you know. It'll find you.
Jesus.
Fury?
Yet somehow, I feel a little better.
It's called acceptance, Aurora. Just roll with it.
Again, how do you deal with the fact that your hidden desire is to see your father die?
Well, apparently it was just a blurry vision, so maybe she misinterpreted. I guess we'll see more in the next couple of parts.
All right, everybody. With the Capilli Village saved tomorrow, the next part, we return to our primary quest. So see you then.
See ya.
Yeah.